Section 6.4, solving equations with algebra. We're going to look back at our equation 5k plus 2 equals 12 that we looked at in our past video to keep it consistent. When we are solving an algebraic equation, the idea is to get the variable by itself because that's what we're trying to solve for. We're trying to find out the unknown, and our variable is the unknown. In this equation, the k is the unknown. To get that by itself, we need to remove any constants and numerical coefficients that may be attached to the variable. In this case, our constant term is 2. We're adding 2 to it. And we're multiplying our variable by 5. 5 is our numerical coefficient. The idea, and when you're trying to solve an equation, is to make sure that you get that variable by yourself. To take a step back as well, we talked about bed mass in earlier units. When you're doing multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction of multiple terms, as in 3 or 4, you follow the order of brackets and exponents, then you do your division and multiplication, and then you would do your addition and subtraction. However, when we use algebra, we do it the reverse. So what we would do is we would do something like SAMDEB. We would start by using our subtraction and addition, and then we would use our multiplication and division. Then finish with any exponents or brackets. So to put that into practice, we're going to take a look at a fairly basic equation that we've done something similar to before. N minus 6 equals 21. Now we are using subtraction. We haven't done that yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to balance this teeter-totter like we talked about, or the seesaw, by making 0 pairs to get the n by itself. If we're subtracting n, or subtracting 6 from n, in this case we're going to add 6 to both sides of the equation. If we add 6 to both sides of the equation, negative 6, or subtract 6 and add 6 will cancel each other out, leaving us with just the n. These two here become canceled out, or 0. But what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side. So we've added 6 over here, we have to add 6 over there. And when we do that, the n is by itself, and we end up with 27. To check that, we can substitute the 27 in for the n on the other side. When we do that, we end up with 27 minus 6 equals 21, and 27 minus 6 is 21. 21 equals 21. To look at something a little more complicated, we are going to use 5k plus 2 equals 12, our good old standard equation. We're going to do the same thing again. We're being asked to add 2. So we're going to do the opposite of that, and we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And when you add 2 and you subtract 2, these two numbers will cancel each other out to make 0, a 0 pair like we've talked about. You subtract 2 from the other side, ends up with a 10, meaning that 5k is equal to 10. Now, with that, you're being asked to multiply your variable by 5. To combat or to counteract that multiplication, we're going to do the opposite, which means to divide. 5k divided by 5, if you divide 5 by 5, you get 1. Well, 1k, 1 times k, is the same as k. So we're going to leave that as k. 5k divided by 5 equals just k. They cancel each other out to 1. 1 times k is still k. On the other side, we have 10. We have to divide that side by 5 as well, because what you do to one side, you have to do to the other for balance. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. To check that, we're going to substitute it on the other side. 5k plus 2 equals 12. We replace the k with a 2. And 5 times 2 is 10. And 10 plus 2 is 12. And 12 is equal to 12. So we're right. On the next equation, n over 3 minus 4 equals 6. So we have to do the same thing. We look at the equation, and the first thing that has to go, we look over here. SA, so subtraction or addition. We have subtraction. In order to counter that, we have to add 4 to both sides. So we're going to cross both of those off. That makes a 0 pair, and when we do it to one side of the equation, we have to do it the other. We added 4 here, we're going to add 4 there, and that leaves us with n over 3 equals 10. Now, same thing we've done before. We need to cancel this out. We need to combat or get rid of this division. And the way to do that is to multiply. The opposite of division is to multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. Now, when you multiply both sides by 3, these 3's cancel each other out. It makes it 3n over 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1, and you're still just going to end up with that n by itself. But what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. So we've multiplied this side by 3 to get rid of our division. We're going to multiply this side by 3, makes it so it's n equals 30. And now to check and see if we're right, we're going to come over to the other equation. We're going to substitute our n with 30. And that gives us 30 divided by 3 minus 4 equals 6. So we're going to do our division first. 30 divided by 3 equals 10. And 10 minus 4 is 6. And 6 is equal to 6. So we're right again. So your practice questions, there's 2 of them. The first one, A, is n divided by 7 plus 6 equals 12. And the second question is 8n plus 5 equals 69. Can you please solve for n for both?